Welcome to WrestleMania.
Ooh, yeah! I am the game! Woo!
Yes! I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I
the best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be.
You will rest in peace. What you gonna do when the whole world falls? I mean, destroy
and that's
you.
the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold says it.
Hello all, welcome to another review from your boy Deluxe Man in his WrestleMania review series. Let me fix this camera real quickly so you can see all of me. There we go. This is my review of WrestleMania 5. We are back at Atlantic City, the same place we had WrestleMania 4 in, the Trump Plaza. And tonight, I'm gonna be real with you. This WrestleMania was a one-match show. We had some solid matches. It wasn't all bad, but majority of the matches were very skippable. If I'm gonna be real with you, just watch the main event. If you tune into this WrestleMania, don't waste your time. Don't sit through all 3 hours and 40 minutes. Well, basically 4 hours, but not really 4 hours. Watch the main event and call it a day. Based off of the first 5 WrestleManias, this so far is the best main event that we've seen. I know Andre and Hogan sold out basically 90,000 seats. But this is the match that I felt like if we added this match to WrestleMania 3, imagine what that could have done. This was a fantastic showcasing of both the Macho Man Randy Savage and the Hulkster himself. The Mega Powers Explode is the tagline for this show. Some backstory, of course, before we get into the actual main event. This little rivalry between Hogan and Savage started off with them being friends. If you watched my WrestleMania 4 review, you will know that Hogan helped Savage win the World Championship. So they were friends by the end of that show. As time went along, they had a couple of tag team matches, and throughout their tenure, Hogan and Elizabeth would share moments that Savage would get kind of iffy and suspicious of, like, why you hugging my woman, Hogan? And then it came down to that night where I think they were fighting the Twin Towers, Big Boss Man and Akeem, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Big Boss Man and Akeem. Savage gets tossed over the top rope, and he falls directly on Miss Elizabeth. Hogan, fearing for her safety and making sure she's okay, picks her up and carries her to the back, leaving Savage alone in the ring. After she's been taken to the medical facility, he gets back into the ring. Savage, pissed off that he left him alone, tags him in but slaps him and then goes to the back. But Hogan basically wins the match for himself anyways because he's Hulk Hogan. But we go backstage, and back then, it was rare that we went backstage other than to do interviews. But the cameras go backstage to that facility to show Elizabeth on the stretcher, just laid out. Hogan and Savage are having the iconic confrontation. Savage is pointing a finger at Hogan. You are trying to take my title, and you're trying to take my woman, Hogan. You're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it. But then you see Savage attack Hogan, and Elizabeth is selling it like a pro. Very intense promo. And that was the night Macho Man Randy Savage turned, became a heel, became a villain, and that set up the main event for WrestleMania 5. Just an all-around great build, great hype to a really good main event. Some details about the show, of course. Like I said, it was 3 hours and 40 minutes long, almost 4 hours. This was held in 1989, April 2nd, 1989. Same place as last year's WrestleMania, Trump Plaza. Attendance is a little bit bigger, 18,946. Commentary, once again, Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura. I am loving these two as time goes by. I feel like their chemistry gets better and better and better and better as the years go by. Because when I first heard them at WrestleMania 1, they were cool. And then, little by little, each year they got better. And so now, I love listening to them. I love how they banter back and forth, how Gorilla Monsoon has to be that neutral commentator that defends everybody, but he basically ends up defending the babyfaces more often than the heels. And Jesse calls him out on it. And there are times where Jesse says something and I'm like, yeah, Jesse's right. I know he's the heel, but Jesse has a point. I like that. I like how their banter adds realism to the matches. They make them feel real. Even when there are some botches in the matches, they call it out. They're like, oh my god, that didn't hit very well. I don't know if he's going to win the match with that. It's really cool. I like that. I appreciate it. We still got the same ring announcer, Howard Finkel, and of course the interviewers for this night. Mean Gene, can't go wrong with that. But then we got Sean Mooney. Don't ask me who that is, because this is my first time seeing him. And the future WCW lead announcer, Tony Schiavone. You will definitely hear me talk about him more, because I think he's going to be commentating for future WrestleManias, because I'm not too sure if Gorilla Monsoon stays too long after this. This year's national anthem was sung by the women's champion, Rockin' Robin. She didn't do a very good job. She tried. I mean, I'm not expecting her to be Gladys Knight or Aretha Franklin or even Ray Charles. But the idea of a tonal pitch escapes her. She has no idea how to sing. And I know she's most likely very well liked during this time, but she did not do a good job at all. What was good was a performance by Run DMC. That was cool. I actually thought that was really nice to see. I'm a big fan of rap, so I enjoyed it. I'm gonna run right through these, cause I'm sorry, there's not much to say other than the main event. In the first match we have King Haku. Don't know what's going on here. Apparently, Haku took the crown from Harley Race, and he's now a king. And he defends the crown here and there. I'm not too sure what's going on. But King Haku with Bobby the Brain Heenan took on Hercules, the same guy who used to work with Bobby, but Bobby turned on Hercules around this point. The match was average, and I think Hercules won. Hercules clearly had his shoulder down, and it should have been a double pin. Seriously, it was like a German suplex, bridged German suplex, but Hercules didn't do a very good job bridging. So it should have been a double pin, but whatever. Hercules won. And commentary called that out, so I appreciate that. But whatever. Referee didn't see it. Next up is the Twin Towers, Akeem and Big Boss Man taking on The Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. This is Shawn Michaels' first WrestleMania performance. Decent match. Michaels, of course, was a bumping machine. He was bumping left and right, making everybody look good. Typical for Shawn Michaels, who is not the Heartbreak Kid yet, but he will be. Next up is the first appearance of the $1 Million Championship. This is the first time we see Ted DiBiase debut the legendary belt. It looked pretty cool on him. He showed it off to Donald Trump, sitting in the front row, and of course he liked it, because he loves his money. Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, versus the $1 Million Man. It went to a no contest. Double count out. I'm just not a fan of these double count out finishes. But I will say it was a fun match. I just wish we would stop with these double count out finishes. It's becoming way too redundant at this point, because it's been happening every single WrestleMania. Can we stop with the double count outs? I'd rather we just have a finish or have a winner. I would appreciate that. And then we got the Rougeau brothers, the fabulous Rougeau brothers versus the Bushwhackers. This match was bad. Bad. I don't want to talk about it too much. Luckily for me, we got a good match between Mr. Perfect and Owen Hart, who is not Owen Hart. He is a Blue Blazer, but it's basically Owen Hart. So Owen Hart versus Mr. Perfect, really good match. Owen Hart was out there wrestling like a freaking cruiserweight, man. Flips and kicks and backflips, moonsaults. It was really cool. A lot of cool spots. Really good performances from both men. Luckily for us, he doesn't stay under the hood too long, because eventually he does become Owen Hart. And then he gets into that whole mess with Bret Hart, and that's for later. That's WrestleMania 10. We got a long way to go before we get there. Next up is a 2-on-3 handicap match for the tag team titles. Don't ask. Apparently, Mr. Fuji wanted to get back at Demolition because he turned on Demolition, and now he's aligned with Warlord and the Barbarian, who are the Powers of Pain. Yeah, the Powers of Pain. So, Demolition, Axe and Smash versus the Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji, and Demolition won. It was an okay match. And I think not too long after that, we got an appearance from Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Yeah, he was just there just for the spectacle aspect of it. After that, we got Dino Bravo versus Rockin, Ronnie, Garvin. Dino won. Boring match. The crowd knew it too. Dino's finisher is a side slam. Kind of weak. Now, I understand back then it was a different time, but this seemed weak for that time too. Those of you who were watching wrestling back then, how did you feel about Dino Bravo's finisher? Because to me, I look at that and go, yuck. That's your finisher? Maybe some of you are going, well, Hogan's finisher is a leg drop, so should we complain? The next match was actually kind of decent. The Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard versus Strikeforce. I think that's Rick Martel and Tito Santana. You know, it was fine seeing them go out there and do their thing. Good performers, all four of them. And of course, Bobby the Brain Heenan in the corner of the Brainbusters. This is the match where Rick turned. This is where he actually had the heel turn, because he is sick of carrying Santana on his back, and he left him to get spike pile drived by Arn and Tully. I think not too long after this, he dons the model gimmick. But this is the heel turn. So I think next WrestleMania, we'll get the debut of the model. Oh God, this segment. Okay, this is the night we did the Piper's Pit with, what's his name? Brother Love and, Morton Downey Jr. Mr. Downey! Morton Downey Jr. Mr. Downey. Oh, man, this segment was long. It was cringy. There was some jokes about kilts and skirts. It was painful to watch. The only good thing is what you guys know about it. The fire extinguisher moment at the end. The portion where we have Mr. Downey blowing smoke in Piper's face. Mr. Downey, don't blow smoke in my face. Blows it in his face again. He turns around. Piper has a fire extinguisher. And he gets fire extinguished. Yeah, yeah. And that was a cool moment. I actually like that. Cool moment at the end, but that entire segment was cringeworthy. We have a special guest referee match. Big John Studd is the referee, and it's Andre the Giant with Bobby the Brain Heenan taking on Jake the Snake Roberts. It was underwhelming. Andre at this point was clearly becoming way too unhealthy and just limited inside the ring. He couldn't perform up to the level that he even did at WrestleMania 3, and he was limited then. His injuries and his weight and his size was catching up to him. Yeah, it was very bad. He was having trouble doing everything at this point in time. But you know how this works. Jake's matches really are surrounded around Damien, the Snake. He pulls out the snake, the crowd goes crazy, and Andre gets the hell out of there. Those of you who don't know this, I actually love Sensational Sherry. One of my favorite heels. First off, she's hot. Very attractive. But she is a really good bitchy heel. She knows how to make you hate her. Even here, she was mocking Rockin' Robin for her horrible rendition of America the Beautiful. She's not wrong, because it was bad. And then she makes fun of Elizabeth for watching the mega powers explode. I love Sherry. I just love her. You're seeing me gush over her now. Rest in peace, by the way. She passed away. But let's move on. We have the Hart Foundation. Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart versus the Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine with Jimmy Hart. Hart Foundation wins. Good performances, especially from Bret Hart. This is when Bret Hart was starting to build momentum. He was starting to get some recognition, and he was starting to become that main event player that we all know he would eventually become. But solid match overall. This match, people don't talk about, and they should. This was a really good, very fun match. WWF Intercontinental Championship. The Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude. Val Venus, eat your heart out. Eat your heart out, boy, because you couldn't pull women like Rick Rude. But really good, very fun match. Awesome selling by Rick Rude. And Warrior actually pulled his own, too. And Rick Rude becomes the new IC champion. Heenan gets slammed afterwards because he screwed over the Warrior. And then I think not too long after that, we have some pretty bad matches. We got Bad News Brown and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That ends again. No contest, double disqualification. Stop it! Stop with the double disqualifications. I hate that. Bad match. We have the Red Rooster, Terry Taylor versus Bobby the Brain Heenan. It ends in 30 seconds. Red Rooster wins. Should I even give this a grade? No, I'm not going to give this a grade. This is a dud. I'll let this one slide because it wasn't even a match. After that was the main event. The WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man Randy Savage. as I said before, fantastic main event. Great build, great hype, great story, and great match to boot. See, this is one of those times where, yes, I know I give credit to Hogan being a character and less of a wrestler. This is one of those times he actually had a good match. Like an actual good quality match with the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I love the drama with Elizabeth. Because you saw Elizabeth showing sympathy and concern for both men. Because she cares about both of them. What really made Savage a douchebag was during the match, he would go over and shove Elizabeth, just talking down to her, like being that abusive boyfriend. He was a bastard. And then there were times where he would hold Elizabeth in front of him to stop Hogan from hitting him. Man, just a big douchebag. And that's what made this match work so well. Savage was a heel. He was a straight up, despicable, hateable heel. We even got some blood to boot too, so that was nice. A fantastic main event all around. Definitely up to this point, the best main event for WrestleMania. Until we get to next year's, which is going to be, can't wait for that one. Hogan wins. He becomes, I think, a 2-time WWF champion at this point. So yeah, really good way to end WrestleMania. A WrestleMania that I thought was average overall, but a fantastic main event. But yeah, that's my thoughts on WrestleMania 5. Give me your thoughts about it down below. How do you feel about this show? What is your favorite match? Again, if you're going to watch the whole thing, be prepared to be bored a majority of the show until you get to the solid matches I told you about and then the main event. But thank you guys for watching this video. Share, comment, subscribe, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, check out everything down below in the description box, and I'll see you for WrestleMania 6. This is your boy, X-Men, signing off in X-Men's world.